Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's week 6 in English 1101. We are going to be working on how to process and annotate sources this week because the next piece of your research paper is an annotated bibliography of the sources that you have located so far. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be working on the same project. So the topics that you proposed on the discussion board, I have given feedback on. Some of you may have some tweaks to do. One of the things I want you to note about my feedback on the topics is that one of my major goals is to help make sure that you are able to write a well-researched academic research paper on the topic. So sometimes we pick things that are either outdated, which I've talked a little bit about last week, arguments that have been kind of, as teachers like to say, done to death, the old don't beat a dead horse saying. But also it's very easy to pick topics that are terribly one-sided in terms of what you might even be able to find in terms of sources. So one of the things that I will be doing over the next few weeks is to help guide you towards productive topics and how to tackle those topics so that you are writing the best research paper that you can that also fulfills all of the research obligations. So a big piece of it is that we are using academically sound, credible sources that we obtain from the Lake Sumter Library. So we're not going to be using things from the internet. We're not going to be using things even from television shows and things like that that you may see. You may see things covered on the TV news. That's not really what we're doing. We're writing well-researched research papers. They are argumentative, but in order to write a credible argument, to build your own credibility, you have to be able to discuss the quote unquote opposite side in a fair and balanced manner. Doesn't mean you have to write about them being right, because clearly you're going to take your own position, but you have to be able to present the other side in a reasonable and fair manner. So choosing topics that are extremely polarizing is dangerous for that very reason. So with that being said, you guys have feedback on those. Make sure that you are taking the feedback. You don't have to use it. You are a grown adult when you are in an English class in college, so you can write about whatever you want. But I have been teaching and guiding people how to write research papers for longer than most of you have been alive. And so I kind of know where the pitfalls are. So I would encourage you to take my advice on each of the stages that you are receiving. So let's take a look at this week's work. All right, we are in week 6. So as usual, I want to start with the syllabus. Just a reminder, here we are in week 6. So researching the argument essay, you're going to be researching your own topics, but the annotating sources assignment is sort of a precursor to the actual official annotated bibliography and outline that you're going to turn in next week. So the first full draft of your paper is going to be in week 8. And then in week 9, you're going to turn in the final version. You're going to have feedback from your classmates and from me in order to make those final changes, do all the final revisions, and then that is where you will be. Okay, so that's what's coming up, and that's where we are in the current. Oh, I didn't need that. modules. That's where I'm going. All right, so let's shut this one down and go to week 6. You will notice there are quite a few resources before you get to the actual assignment. So I'm just going to walk you through what's in here, and then we will take a look at the assignment together. So assessing sources. One of the big things, of course, that we're doing is recognizing good sources and avoiding bad ones. So there's a nice video here that will help you with that. There is also a PDF version of the PowerPoint. So if you wanted to take a look at that after the fact, then we have a note about where to read about this in the Little Seagull. Many of you have already done this because you looked over this when you were working on your inquisitive, but this is what you would want to target. Research and evaluating sources, which is sections R1 and R2. Next, we have an overview of the library databases, which is where you are going to do the bulk of your research. Library databases, you've got a video on how to use them. And then, of course, this is the an additional piece of information. Searching the database is like searching Google, but it is not the same as just searching the open internet. There are several databases in particular that are useful when researching the argumentative topics. Personally, I think either one of these first two, Academic OneFile or Academic Search Complete, these are general databases and they are good for no matter what kind of paper that you are writing about. But as you note, CQ Researcher Plus and Opposing Viewpoints and Statistia are all highlighted in yellow because they do have particular leanings towards argumentative topics. Personally, my suggestion would be Opposing Viewpoints. Opposing Viewpoints does exactly what it says and it covers both sides for you. So I'm a big fan of that one. But you can learn how to use them in the video. And there are also tutorials on the library page about it. Our librarian also posted an announcement this week that you will want to check out. On the next one, we have places to go for web searching. But again, you need to do primarily your research will be in the library. So procon.org is similar in some ways to Opposing Viewpoints in that it covers both sides. And then we have a link to factcheck.org, which could also be useful. There's a video on Google and how to use Google more efficiently. Up next, we have some resources on active reading. One of the things that you need to do when you are doing your research is to be an active reader, meaning that you are not just glossing over things. And so please do take the time, read the PowerPoint, view the video, and then there are some reading strategies in section W16 of the Little Seagull as well. Master list of source annotation options gives you a lot of information about tools that you can use using the library databases, using their features such as taking notes and highlighting. Personally, I dump everything that I want to use in a Word document is how I take my notes. But there's all kinds of fun things here that you can try out. And really, just like anything else, you've got to figure out what works best for you. That's going to be, of course, the most important thing. Here's a sample, and this has some information as well as a link to a sample document. So make sure you check that out. And then finally, we get to the annotating sources assignment. To complete this assignment, you need to find 3 good sources. You will probably use them in your argument essay. So I would, take it seriously as if these are things that you're going to use in your own paper. Review the resources, and at least one source must be from the library databases. I would urge you to include only sources from the library databases. Some helpful links here, et cetera, et cetera. And then you're going to put everything in a Word document and send that into this. Okay, so 3 credible sources that have been linked and uploaded. annotations, you've included them, you've taken notes as you've read, you're including all of that in the information. So that is your marching orders. Those are your marching orders for this week. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I am in a conference Monday through Wednesday of this week, so I may be a little slower than usual answering the inbox messages, but I am available. So let me know if you need anything. In the meantime, everybody take care and have a great week 6. Happy fall.